if you know there's worms there and you want to go scare everybody, and nobody had ever heard of worms before, night crawlers, all right? So, and you want to scare people into believing they need to eradicate their lawns from night crawlers. Not like the vampire night crawlers, like I'm talking about, like earthworms, fishing worms, all right? So if you want to scare them, if nobody knew, like nobody had ever heard of coronavirus, the majority of people never heard of it, except for the World Health Organization, CDC, and everybody else who already knew it was circulating. They all knew about it. The general public had no idea there was a coronavirus. You know what? They think coronavirus came from the Corona beer. Just like they thought the swine flu came from pigs, from a kid kiss the pig contest. Anyways, but there was a harmless pig virus in the rotavirus vaccines back in 2008 and 9, just prior to the pig virus hitting people. Just a coincidence. All right, I talked about in that past. Sorry, I'm getting off topic, but here you go. So if you wanted to convince people, nobody ever heard of earthworms. So you basically start a study and you start testing for earthworms. You go around to people's yards and you dig up their yard and you go, look at this, you're infested with earthworms. They're gonna kill and they're gonna crawl out into your eyeballs and eye sockets and ears and kill you. So you better get rid of them. You could scare everybody into believing that pretty much if they'd never heard of earthworms and they see these little creepy crawler things. Oh my God, they're like snakes, we gotta get rid of them. Everybody's scared of a snake. This is just like a snake. It's actually more deadly because there's so many more of them. They infect your lawn so bad. They're already if you never tested for something before that was already underneath the surface, what are you going to find when you start testing? And what are you going to see in your statistics when you first start testing for something that's already there? You're going to see it blast off. China was 4 unknown causes. The majority of pneumonia is an unknown cause. Because they don't test down to detail out how many rhinoviruses, how many Coxsackie viruses, how many coronaviruses, how many influenza viruses, how many bacterial infections, and what type of bacteria is each one of them. They don't care. And then you got new Oxford studies suggest millions of people had already built up coronavirus immunity. But these Oxford researchers of 50% already infected, slammed by experts. The Oxford scientists are experts, folks. Well, those experts saying that we're not in a massive pandemic and people need to fear the bejesus out of this darn coronavirus, those aren't experts. They're no longer an expert. They were a professor and scientist at Oxford University. I think they're probably pretty intelligent. And they did exactly what I just did. They said people already have been infected with coronavirus long before you started detecting and testing for it. You didn't care why people were having pneumonia 3 months ago. As long as it wasn't flu, we won't test anymore. We don't know what it is. U.S. hospitals and doctors didn't care to report to the World Health Organization, hey, we don't know what all these people are dying of pneumonia. Every year, the majority of people don't know why they have pneumonia. 50% already slammed by liars and the people that want you to be fearful. 99% of those who died from virus already had other illnesses. It hits the susceptible. Yes, there are people dying of coronavirus. There are people dying of influenza right now. There are people dying of chemotherapy right now. There are people dying because the medical community is botching the drugs they're giving these people. They're dying also because they're giving them fever-reducing drugs that are established to increase the mortality rate from infectious illnesses. I'm upset because I hate a lying tongue, just like Christ does. Corona is revealing a secret of America has no real public health system. Where are they going to go with that? Why would they publish that? Here's why. Because then they're going to say the CDC needs more funding. Health departments need more control over you. They need more money and they need more power, because without that money, without that power, they can't stop future epidemics and pandemics. We just barely caught the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, but again, infectious illnesses, longitudinal active sampling for respiratory viral infections across age groups. Published in May of 2019. Guess what? Oh, let's look. In red, everybody in red, this was starting in 2016, coronavirus. Coronavirus was seasonal. November, December, January, February, March, April, it all declines. Why did it spike here, they said? If you read the study, they said it spiked in May and June because of the limited number of positive tests, only a couple positive tests. It was a false positive in statistical significance. But one of the number one most prevalent illnesses that affected people over every year, basically. November, December, January, and February. When did they start testing? Here. So you're going to catch these people, and the rates are going to look horrific. But you're just showing people. You're uncovering the soil. You're taking the topsoil off to reveal what's already there. They knew it. They've been studying this for the last 3 years, that coronavirus was a seasonal. November, December, January, February, March, and then it declines, and then it's really not there until October, November, December, January, February, March again. In April, and it declines again. So we're already on the decline of coronavirus season, folks. We don't need to be quarantined. We don't need to be locked in our homes. People don't need to be losing their livelihoods. People don't need to be committing suicide because the government is listening to imbeciles, or rather not imbeciles, because that would mean that they're unintelligent. They're not smart. These people are smart in their ability to manipulate. They knew it. Look at this. Rhinovirus in black, which causes the majority of people, is the underlying infectious disease related to and associated with pneumonia deaths in hospitals. The majority of people every year dying from pneumonia, it's related to rhinovirus. If they want to do exactly what they're doing right now, all they got to do is start right now testing for rhinovirus. Actually, wait, I can't say this. So, okay, black, rhinovirus. They could do that, and they want to do it around July especially. They want to do it around September, October, February. It'll spike again, so it goes up and down multiple times a year. So all they got to do is start testing. And it's like, oh my God, rhinovirus, sinus infections, which can cause lower respiratory tract infections as well in susceptible people. All they got to do is start testing for it right now. And they can do exactly the same thing they are doing with coronavirus. You ever heard of anybody coming down with coronavirus 17, 18, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 10, 11, 12, 7, 9? No, they're not differentiating between all the different viruses because they don't care. All they want is corona. And I'm not talking about the beer. All they want is the corona written on statistics to scare everybody. But they already knew it. Coronavirus in red. The vast majority of active infections, or not even active infections, they were testing people. Children, adults without children. Actually, one of the best ways to reduce your risk of actually having one of these viruses in your respiratory tract was to not have children. So the medical community, if they wanted to reduce infectious illness spread and disease, all they got to do is say, everybody stop having children, because children are little disease spreaders. Little gremlins with infectious diseases spreading them to everybody. And there's little teenagers too. Don't wash their hands after going to the bathroom. Corona, they know it. They know it. Flu, but flu is in blue. Flu in blue, okay? So the flu is in the blue and the corona is in the red. Dang it. But see, they know this stuff. They knew it. They knew it. It was the best. It's the second leading cause of infectious respiratory illness after rhinovirus.